nerds and turds. Welcome back to DevDive, a conversational podcast. This is where we take a deep dive into the world of indie game development and uncover the stories behind the games that we love. I am one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana, and with me is the co-host. Actually, I'm with him, really, because he did like the last two all by his lonesome. He's Andy Asimakis. How you doing, buddy?
We had to do this show and to get this guest on specifically. Because I feel if I hadn't done this or arranged it, aneurysm like 10 years from now. Because there was a burning question in my brain
I see.
From this game's demo.
Uh-huh.
It's like, I gotta talk to this guy because it's just gnawing away. Chipping away at the old sanity.
Well, why don't you introduce our guest since you're so hype?
Oh, yeah, I could do that. I don't have a doc in front of me. Like, I'm not.
All right, I'll do it. That's okay. On this week's dive,
curveballs at me.
It's not a curveball. I mean, you invited the guy. I mean,
there's a flow that we keep to.
There is a flow, and I just throw a monkey wrench in it. You know what I mean? It's my first show back in a little while, so I'm just trying to keep Andy on his toes. I didn't want him to think he could get away with not hosting at all. It's, you know what I mean? On this week's dive, we welcome Rohan Nowell, the developer of Doggy Don't Care, a positively cheeky adventure where you unleash your adorable chaos as a mischievous pup. Welcome to the show, Rohan. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm great. Thank you.
This is going to be good. This is going to be a great show. Doggy Don't Care. Right off the bat, I just want to say that for some reason, I get a song stuck in my head. It has nothing to do with dogs. It has nothing to do with urinating on things. It has nothing to do with your game. But I get Papa Don't Preach, but Doggy Don't Care.
I hear it.
Right? Like, it's just, I get that stuck in my head. Anyway, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us here on DevDive. We're very excited to have you here. Folks, if you don't know what DevDive is, I said it at the top of the show, this is where we interview indie game developers so we can uncover the stories of those games. And we do this for you each and every week for your listening pleasure on your podcast service of choice. And you can check out the video version of the podcast on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@IndieRift. If you want to support us on Patreon, it's so easy to do so. Go to patreon.com/IndieRift, just like our Patreon producer, Colton, the Journeyman Nestler. Thank you so much for supporting all of us over these years, over multiple rebrands and everything like that. But we are finally here. We're Indie Rift and we're DevDive, and we're going to dive right into it. Andy, you have a burning question.
Oh my God. So wait, we need some setup. First, let's have our guest describe what the game is, what it's all about, and then I can lay my question.
Okay. First thing I want you to do is bump your volume up a little bit because you got low all of a sudden.
See what happened there?
Yep. Okay. So, Rohan.
Yeah. So I'm making Doggy Don't Care.
Yes.
It is a it's like an adventure, mischievous puzzle platformer, 3D puzzle platformer. You play as a dog. The aim is to just get up to the most naughty things you can think of by exploring the environments around you. Think Untitled Goose Game mixed with Banjo-Kazooie. That's the vibe I'm going for.
Exactly. That is exactly right. Okay, Andy. Now you're set up.
So that's the context. That's the game we're talking about. It's a little puppy dog just messing shit up in this house, going crazy. And not to describe our friend's game here for him, but you unlock those like goals and you get little badges as you do little things in the house and break certain things or turn TV on and what have you. Once you get to the outside of the house, into the little backyard, as it were, you can start digging around the backyard. And I was digging around and I found like 6 rolls of toilet paper buried underground. And I sat there thinking, what kind of psychotic people are burying toilet paper in their backyard? Like, it took over the entire game for me. It became a whole other thing. It wasn't about this dog anymore. Like, my brain was just focused on this one fact and I couldn't get rid of it. So now you're here and I need to know Wow.
Well, Rohan, before you answer the question, or even try to answer the question, because I don't know if there is an answer, but Andy, do you have any theories?
I don't know. They're serial killers.
Okay.
And they just do it for some unknown reason. They're just insane.
I have a theory.
Maybe they're like kind of like they want to be doomsday preppers. They're not quite there yet.
I got
so
you.
they're starting to make a bunker, but they're not sure how to
They
go
don't.
about it.
They don't have the bunker part.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
okay. So I have a theory. So as a dad, right? There are certain inconveniences that we are that we're exposed to more frequently, and one of those is going to the bathroom, sitting down, doing your business, and there being no toilet paper. This is something that happens just so often with young children who don't know how to not use all of the toilet paper, and who also don't know how to go to a closet, get the new toilet paper out, and put it there. But every once in a while, I think to myself, there has to be a toilet paper goblin stealing the toilet paper from the bathroom and hiding it somewhere among the house. Perhaps in Doggy Don't Care, there are toilet paper goblins that are stealing from all the fathers out there who are going in there for their peaceful shit of the day when they get home from work, only for there to be no toilet paper. Exactly. It is the exact opposite end, opposite everything. The TP fairy. That's what I think is happening here. Rohan, tell us, what is going on with the toilet paper? Why is it in the backyard? Why is it buried? And are there toilet paper fairies?
I think that the toilet paper just created itself in the game, manifested itself underground in my own game. I don't know why it's there. It showed up one day, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep it there. Let's just go with that. But coming up with ideas for what the dog to dig up has been a really fun experience, and it's also quite difficult. But one of the things, I'm surprised you brought up the toilet paper, because a lot of people, when they play the game, they always find there's this little black and white animal that you dig up in one of the holes. And people always freak out, and they're like, what the heck is that? Is that a dead animal? And they kind of have a moment, and they're like, did I just dig up a carcass? And it's not a carcass. It's actually my dog's, and like my real life dog, he has a favorite toy, and it's a magpie. So it's a little stuffed toy magpie, and it squeaks like when you hold it.
That makes sense.
So I put that into the game as like a hat tip to Charlie. I was like, I'm gonna put my dog's favorite favorite toy in my game because I can. So I did that, and everyone's like, "What is this dead animal I just dug up?" So whoever plays, don't worry if you dig up a dead animal, because it's just a stuffed toy. Yeah.
But I could understand that if I thought that there was a dead animal, I could be, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll write that off.
It definitely looks like a dead animal. I might have to like make it more obvious that it's not.
Does it squeak?
That also leans more on
I need to make it squeak, yeah.
on the serial killer vibes. They're burying the dead animal. They're killing animals first to get a taste.
Right.
That's how it all starts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. As long as you're not digging up Jimmy Hoffa, I think you should be all right. I think you'll be fine. Is that a deep cut? Is that a deep cut? Is Jimmy Hoffa is the mystery of Jimmy Hoffa not in the zeitgeist anymore?
No,
huh?
Nope.
Well, it is in the Northeast. Okay, what can I tell you? There's still what every time a new building goes up, we wonder: are they gonna find Jimmy Hoffa? Are they gonna find him? It's possible. Hey, listen, it's possible. Anything's possible. Go ahead, Andy.
And also, actually, with the toilet paper, one of the reasons I kept it there was it was one of the things that you could dig up that would have multiple pieces, and then when they come out, they actually all the gravity activates at once, and they kind of get spilled everywhere, and then like the trail renderer shows the toilet paper trails, so it kind of makes a bit more of an exciting explosion when you unreveal it. So that's another reason why I went with that, because I just threw it in there to test the actual mechanic of digging, and then it kind of went, and it made me surprised. I was like, "Oh, that was awesome! I'm going to put like 7 of them in there and see how that looks." Yeah, it's just so much fun, just coming up with like stupid ideas like that.
Speaking of stupid ideas,
go ahead. Go ahead.
How did this come about? So tell us about the genesis of Doggy Don't Care.
Yeah. So before I was making Doggy Don't Care, I had spent like about a year working on my second game. I should say my first game was a mobile game, and it was a 2D kind of like Flappy Bird, but well, it was not really like Flappy Bird, but you're a magpie, and you flew at the top of the screen, and every time you touch the screen, the magpie would swoop this way, swoop, and people would be walking underneath, and you're just swooping, which in Australia, magpies are known for swooping people, right?
Yeah.
So I made that game. It's called Swoopy Boy. I made that to prove to myself that I could make a game. The game kind of came to me while I was doing a how to make Flappy Bird tutorial. So I did that. And where was it going? Sorry, I've forgotten what the question was.
Where did the idea for Doggy Don't Care come from?
Yeah. So after I released Superboy, I didn't have a marketing plan or anything like that. And it did really well for my first game. So after that, I started my second game, which was another 2D side-scrolling game. But it was I had lost my brother to suicide that year.
Oh my goodness.
So it was about grief, and it had like very dark tones to it. And it was really something I was really passionate about. Had a really deep story, and I was bringing all the things together that I'd learned, and I worked on that for a year, and it was codenamed Soul. And while I was really enjoying that, I kind of got too deep into it, and it was a bit depressing. I just kind of needed to bring myself out of that depressing state and think about something fun and colorful. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put this game to the side, and I need to just go left field and just make something stupid, something colorful, something fun, something for no other reason than just to enjoy myself and get creative again and help other people in a similar situation, or who are just wanting to have a good time and just enjoy themselves for no reason other than to be in a silly situation. So I started thinking about other game ideas. And at the same time, I decided, okay, let's give this 3D game development a go. So I downloaded Blender and I started playing around with 3D. And then, I always liked Untitled Goose Game, because during COVID, while I was going through the grievance process, I played Untitled Goose Game, and it was quite a rudimentary game for me that I was like, this game is so simple and so stupid, and yet it's just like one of the best things I've played. So I always had thought of that. And me and my brother grew up playing Banjo-Kazooie when we were kids. So I've always wanted to make a Banjo-Kazooie. I always wanted to work for Rare since I was a kid. So I was like, okay, I'm going to bring these two games together and build a similar thing where you're a stupid animal doing stupid things, and you're on like a kind of adventure with things to collect, objectives to do, and I'll just see where it goes from there. And then so I downloaded the this dog model to practice with, and I just made him run around in the void of Unity, and I made him pee for the first time, where I press circle or like spacebar or whatever, and he'd lift his little leg, and a yellow circle image would just appear underneath him and get bigger and bigger. And I was like, I think I found the idea. Like that's it. I haven't seen anyone else do this yet. This looks hilarious. I was having fun just running around a white space, peeing everywhere. And I'm like, this game has, potential. So yeah, from there on, I had no idea what I was doing in terms of 3D. I put down a floor, and then I started putting walls, and it's very, very slowly built out to be a house. And okay, first level is going to be in a house, and then the ideas just built themselves from there. So that's where I found myself making this game.
How do you come up with like the goals of the game? Like, it's one thing to just cause chaos for no reason, but you actually gamified the reason. Talk a little bit about like getting into the gamification of being a destructive little pup.
Yeah, so that's actually a good question, because I was really struggling with ideas at the beginning, because the world was so big that I'm like, okay, a dog can do anything and everything, and how am I going to make this a game and not just a sandbox thing? And I'm very reluctant to add stuff to a game because anything I add adds more complexity, and I like minimal. I like possible. Like I'm gonna finish this game, so everything I add needs to be added for a reason.
Right.
So I was very reluctant to add another character. I really wanted it just to be the dog at Home Alone because that was the tagline, Home Alone. But then I was like, okay, why is this dog doing the stuff he's doing, and like how's he coming up with the ideas, all this kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, I think I need to add another character to give it that Banjo-Kazooie vibe. So I was like, okay, people have parrots. Technically, he's still home alone if the parrots are home. So I threw in the parrot idea. And then I was like, okay, this is great. The parrot is telling him to do the naughty stuff, and he's just doing what the parrot tells him to, kind of thing. So I was like, okay, so maybe he can get rewarded for doing the things from the parrot. I'm like, okay, yes. So, okay, the parrot gives him badges for doing naughty things. Perfect. And then that's when the ideas really started coming out, because I was able to be like, okay, what's the next badge? You know, instead of being like, okay, what can the dog do? I'm like, okay, no, what's the name of the next badge, or what's the image on the next badge? And then it's just so much fun coming up with ideas. And then I was like, okay, maybe each level will have 21 badges. So then it made it easier for me to have a template or a structure to focus on. Yeah.
That bird is such a piece of shit, I have to say. Does he not like the dog? Does he want to get the dog in trouble? Because I feel like he's in this cage chilling out.
Yeah.
Just like, whispering in his ear, you should break all the things in this house.
Yeah, I think they're going to have like a frenemy situation going on. I'm still working out their dynamic, but I like the idea that, because, I love dogs and I've got a dog, and yes, he's naughty, but, we all love dogs, and dogs, they're always forgiving for what they do because they're so cute. So I don't want to come across in this game that dogs are evil and dogs are bad and dogs do evil things because they're evil. But, I'm not very... I don't love parrots. I don't hate them, but they look pretty cheeky to me as well. So secretly, I think the dog likes getting up to mischief, and he's bored because his owner has left him at home. And this parrot takes advantage of that. So he's like, okay, let's get this guy to do something else. But this is all in the background, so it's all alluded to. But the focus is on the dog.
Man, and the owner leaves you treats, before you leave. You gotta find them. It's a little mini game. It's a nice little cute opening. If I came home one day after giving my dog treats and went off to work, and I found half the destruction,
you wouldn't do a damn thing.
I don't know.
You wouldn't do a damn thing. You love that dog too much.
Fine, you're right.
The
eyes. It's the eyes, man. There's a twinkle.
The eyes kill me. Yeah. The treats at the beginning of the game, I think there's 5 of them to find. It's kind of a dig at life, because I always, when you leave and you leave a dog's treats, I'm always subconsciously thinking, he's going to find these in about 3 seconds after I leave, and then he's going to be bored, because you put them out so they don't get bored, but then they're probably just going to find them in like 10 seconds and then be like, okay, now what? All right, I'll just chew this couch. So I did that, and there's a little bit of third wall, what is it? Fourth wall breaking in the game.
Wall,
yeah. So he's like, my humans have to try harder. Yeah, just found all these way too easily. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I have to ask you, there's another question that just popped in my brain that was weighed on me heavily during the demo. There's a basketball that's locked in a chest.
Yeah.
Serial killers. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's questionable humans for sure.
I like to think that the parrot is jealous of the attention that the dog gets, and is trying to get him in trouble for when the owner comes back, and that the owner will give him away for being a bad dog. That's what I like to think. I like to think it's a purely evil parrot. It's like Iago or something. Just like
Iago.
just a real son of a bitch.
So what happens? There's the house, there's the backyard, there's these these tasks you have to do to get these badges. How do you build off that in terms of, can you leave the house at some point? Does it expand into other environments, on the street, other levels. What else can we do as this pup besides destroying his poor master's
Yeah.
house?
So definitely, once again, the tagline is like a dog left at home alone. But I definitely always wanted to break out of that, especially once I knew that this game had the potential it does. I'm like, okay, this game has to be bigger and better than just living and running around the house. So yes, you do escape into the backyard and then outside the backyard. The demo is the house and backyard alone, but there's 5 other levels that I'm been working on. For example, the second level, you're on a farm. So there's a lot of ideas and more fun stuff that have just been created themselves, because then I've added more characters, like there's sheep, chickens. I've come up with the concept of each level actually has its own host bird. So the first level is the parrot, but the second level will be a different animal.
Oh, fucking
Because
birds.
They're all
birds are
birds, though.
assholes.
Yeah, and they're all connected. So I'm thinking they'll all be like cousins or brothers from another mother's type thing. But yeah, so each level will have its own character with its own like personality, with their own mischievous badges that they will give the dog, and it's almost like they hire out this dog to do mischievous stuff on their properties on their behalf. They're like, hey, you've got that dog dude. Can you bring him over to my farm and let him wreak havoc here? I've got a list of things he can do for me. So yeah, the ideas are building themselves out. And from what I've been working on the last few weeks, it's really been fleshing out. And it's a hell of a lot of fun to play. And I need to stop playing it and keep making it, actually. So yeah.
I always wondered about that. Like, when do you get to the point where you need, like you can't play your own game and you have to build the next thing? I always wondered about that. Like, especially if you're making a game that's addictive to play, like, why even continue? Just release what you got.
Yeah. Well,
maybe that's where early access came from.
If I come up with an idea and if I've actually found it to be a good thing if I get hooked on it and find myself playing it for a little while, because I'm actually like, okay, if I'm enjoying this, people are going to enjoy this. So yeah, like other times I might create something, I'm like, oh, that'd be fun, and then I move on to the next thing. But I'm just like assuming they're going to have fun. Whereas other ideas that have kind of created themselves, I'm like playing it for a good like 15, 20 minutes just for the sake of it, and being like, this is so much fun. Like the peen, for example, and more like not just the peen mechanic, but like when I changed it from a circle showing up on the ground and making it like the waterfall little circles coming out of his actual groin area, like that made me laugh, and that was the opening shot for the trailer from then on, because I'm like, that is hilarious. Like that's got me excited. So when those moments hit, I'm like, okay, this idea is good. It doesn't matter that I've spent half an hour playing, because that's just proved that it's a good idea and that it works. So I'm always seeking out those ideas that take my time, and take me away from development.
Was a humping mechanic considered at any point during development?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I did try to put it in at one stage. It got tricky with the animation and actually locking him onto certain objects. So it might come back. Like I'd love for him to be able to hump the magpie stuffed toys, stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see. There's lots of mechanics that are in the works. Again, adding more mechanics, adding more things adds more complexity, more bugs. So I'm very reluctant to add things for the sake of it, but definitely potential for it.
It's gotta happen.
Are you thinking about other breeds of dog to be the chaos arbiter?
Yeah, it's definitely a like go-to first idea of everyone wants to play as their own dog type thing. I have created this brand around this pug character, and I've been doing a lot of memes on Twitter around the character himself. So the game is the dog at the moment, and he is a pug. I will definitely look at being able to customize the dog in some sort of way. Whether you'll be able to play as a different breed is on the cards for sure, but I'm not sure whether I'll get there. I've got a lot of time to work on this game, and it's definitely in my mind. I'm like every day I wake up, I'm like, oh, got to add more customization to this dog. But yeah, it's all just exciting potential. So we'll see where it goes.
Just do a season pass, you know, for
Yeah,
like
there you go.
get like 5 dogs
Yeah.
per season or some shit
Yeah.
like that. Charge like $10.
I'd like to
Terrible,
just
terrible
talking out loud. I'd like to add, like, once you finish the game, maybe you play as a different animal, or maybe you play as a different dog the second time through, or something like that. Those kinds of things that I think that could work pretty well.
Yeah, you play as the new dog the owner gets once they kick the other dog off. Just a
Yeah,
fucking asshole.
Not too bad. I'm gonna keep that next one. These are great ideas you come up with.
Damn magpies. And the magpies and parrots. Damn it.
I think it's just a miracle you get any work done on this game at all. Because I would just be lost in the sandbox elements of the whole thing. Like, how do you even?
Yeah,
it's
it's
'cause
bad. Yeah.
I didn't think I'd have that much fun playing it because like I was a huge fan of Goose Game, and you know, this again I'm a huge dog person, but I just fell in love with the world. It's so simple, but I just got lost in it.
Yeah, awesome.
So thank you for eating away all my free time for like a day or two.
It has that. I wonder if if I could do that.
It has like
You know?
that experimentation,
Yeah,
like
good.
discovery sense. going on, like-
Discoverability.
that's the word.
Yeah,
Discovery.
Discoverificity. Yeah, that's it. That's the
I've
one.
yeah, it's really hard balance trying to, because that's what I want. So that really means a lot when you say that, because I want players to run around and be like, oh, I wonder if you can do this, you know. Oh, I bet the developer hasn't thought about this, but oh, they have. You can do that, you know. So I'm always trying to find the little things, and I don't want everything you do to give you a badge. I want you know, little sneaky things to maybe get a comment from the parrot. You know, throw in a dialogue of like, Jesus, I didn't think you'd do that. I don't have a badge for that type of thing, you know, and reward the player for doing like extra mischievous things that just like a little bit too far for a friendly, a family-friendly game. Or yeah, so yeah, it's just there's just so much to do with it.
What's
And it's
off
only on the first level so far, so yeah.
Could you like burn the house down if you wanted to? That should be an option, I feel.
You can set the oven on fire at the moment.
Yes,
there is a way
you
to set the oven
can.
on fire.
Setting multiple fires, though, I think should be an
I think
objective.
other levels, I think there'll be more potential for fire hazards. But yeah.
Huh. The wheels are turning, Andy. The wheels are turning.
It just speaks to my inner like chaos gremlin. That's why I love it so much. Because
Well, it's fun to destroy.
I like structure and like right angles because my brain is stupid and I like things neat and just having
He's a
this
simple man.
playground. I was like, I'm gonna tear the shit up like left and right. And it's so cathartic and it gives me such joy. I have no idea how good it feels.
Nice.
So thank you.
I need to add more destruction for sure, because yeah, the first level, like I'm a bit like you in the sense that like I like everything neat. You'll notice that the game is very minimal. Everything's tidy. The first, the house is kind of like, I'm trying to go for like a designer home. So like this person has really nice stuff. It's very designery. Everything's like put exactly where it should be. In this, so that when you start, everything's all placed out really nicely. It's quite a lot of negative space. But then by the time you're done, like it's all just disheveled. So that's the idea I want from each level, is that it kind of starts off with lots of open air, open space, empty floor space and that, and then by the end you've just got like crap everywhere from items throughout the game and throughout the levels. So yeah.
How much of the destruction imitates real life? Is your dog an asshole in real life, or is he a good little boy?
It's actually not too bad, to be honest. When we first got him, he was peeing everywhere, and that's when I started the game. We actually got him. It was like the week before, a week after that I started the game. We got Charlie, and he wasn't desexed. we like rescued him, so he wasn't desexed, and he was just peeing everywhere. And it was just like, it was a horrible like 3 months or something he was doing it.
Damn.
Yeah. So, but he hasn't like chewed stuff or he doesn't do that kind of stuff. But yeah, he barks a lot. But yeah, there's definitely been times where he does like a few things, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Don't do it again, Charlie, but like that's a pretty good idea for the game. So do something else so I can get another idea.
So you had mentioned that you were making a game before this, and it was kind of like a therapy for you in some way. And then you sort of shifted to Doggy Don't Care, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it's another form of therapy for your grief. Like you're almost that you know you're remembering fonder times playing these types of games or playing these collectathon games. Talk a little bit more about that, because I think that's a fascinating story to tell people out there who might be struggling with loss and grief, and could get lost in their own sauce. How did you figure out a way to do something, build something positive out of that profound grief?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I had to go from focusing on trying to process dark thoughts and incredibly sad thoughts. But as you said, I because I stopped making soul, didn't mean that I just didn't want to continue processing what I've been going through. So I shifted to a positive, fun, stupid game. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess it's just helped a lot because it's given me the license to think about the little things in life that just make me laugh. And it's it's taken the view away from myself, because actually in the other game, the character in the game is me, which is very like self, whatever you call it. He's actually wearing a jumper like this in the game, because I wear these jumpers all the time. But anyway, yeah, so it took the focus away from myself, and woe is me, look what I'm going through, all this kind of stuff. And now my game is about building for other people, and helping them have an outlet to just be silly, to enjoy themselves. I'd love to inspire other game developers through it, to show that you don't have to create a crazy AAA game with a million objects in the scene to create something fun. You can be intentional, you can be minimal, and you can be sophisticated in what you're creating. As long as you do it with purpose and with a plan, you can create something that people can get a lot out of. I've had a lot of people play this game on Twitch and YouTube, and one of the earliest players, she was just taken aback by the game. She was just having so much fun playing it, and she was just laughing at every little thing in the game. And I just was watching her live, and I was like, this is the exact person I've made this game for. She just noticed all the little things. Like she was like, oh my god, there's bone clouds in the sky. I'm like, thank you, like, thank you for noticing. And she'd laugh at like just like little animations. She's like, oh my god, look at the tail, and she was just, yeah. So seeing someone become so happy through something I created just has just made me feel much better than I did creating a sad, dark game. But having said that, I did process a lot making that other game too. And I think it's got some potential. I don't think I'll ever go back to 2D, but yeah, we'll see where things go after this game.
Why wouldn't you go back to 2D?
I'm pretty like, I taught myself to draw when I was working full time as a website developer. I used to practice drawing at lunchtime, and on the train home, I used to catch a train 1 hour to and from work each way. So to kill my time, I used to draw, and I'm drew every day for a year, so I learned to draw. Having said that, I don't consider myself an illustrator or a extremely good drawer. I forgot what I was saying again. Sorry.
Why not 2D?
Oh yeah. So yeah, with 2D, you have to create everything from scratch. That is that if you need a background, you need to draw the whole. Like a lot of indie game developers talk about this, and it's so true. If you draw a background, you got to draw the whole thing, and which is hard enough already. But then not only that, but like it's on the screen for about 1 second as people run through your scene. So that's a lot of drawing you have to do. And to get variety in there, like, you know, with 3D, you can like throw different objects in and create different combinations. But if it's 2D, it's harder. Like you got to draw. You just have to draw so much, and you have to curate it so much more. It takes a lot of time, and there's a lot of redoing. I don't find it as fun doing 2D. I find 3D a lot more fun because I kind of feel like a god looking down in this world, and I'm picking up like 3D objects and moving them. I'm, you know, changing their textures and their just the way they look. I can completely create animated characters that can interact with these objects. It's just so much more fun doing 3D. 2D has its place, and I think people are suited to 2D, but for myself, 2D was way too much work and too much overhead for myself. Yeah.
Maybe for a solo dev, but you know, when that yacht money comes in from Doggy Don't Care,
hire a team.
Oh, yeah.
you know, you get yourself a team and you go back to Soul and
have that one guy do the
Yeah.
parallax scrolling.
yeah,
That's his
yeah,
job, you know.
yeah.
It's
Get
the
the one guy make
That's like the one thing I
Yeah.
know.
background
That one
artist
term.
done.
What else?
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure. I think a lot of
volumetric
people-
fog. is the other
Volumetric
term I
fog,
know.
baby. Let's go. Does
Yeah,
Doggy
you pretty much
does
just described the two things that I loved in my first game. It was all about the parallax scrolling, love that, and the like making the levels foggy, and creating high contrast with like these black holes that were like bright white, and then like with the dark background. It had some cool elements to it.
maybe we'll see it one
But
day.
yeah,
These games are high contrast. What you're describing, what you're between that and this, like a total
Yeah.
opposite.
A piss
of,
pug.
Like, yeah.
Dark holes.
But could you imagine if
Yeah.
it was like from the Mines of Soul? And this is like the follow-up game that came out.
Yeah. Or hey, listen,
Or from the reverse.
Yeah,
from
the mind of Doggy Don't Care. Sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check us out the next wholesome direct, you know. Just,
Hell yeah.
put that on there. What was the most surprising thing that you learned about yourself throughout this whole process of Doggy Don't Care? I feel like it may stir some things about oneself as you're putting this little chaos gremlin in action for all of us to
I find I'm always like relearning about myself because I, like a lot of indie developers will go through, like one day I'm quite confident in my abilities, and next day I'm like, oh my god, how am I going to make this game? But like I do like to think that it's leveling out, and that I'm consistently thinking, okay, I can definitely do this, and there's ups and downs, but I've definitely learned that I'm capable of creating fun experiences, and I'm pretty good at coming up with ideas, I think. And I've definitely learned that making games alone is a huge challenge, although fun and kind of nice to be able to say. I'm definitely all about, you know, things are better when they're not made alone. So I'm definitely bringing others on board for this game, especially in the next few weeks. I'm getting a graphic designer on board and a composer to get some proprietary music in there, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, everything's going to be overhauled. So like, I'm really excited to see where it goes, and the game might evolve a bit. with other people coming on board, but definitely excited.
Man, I want that poster in my office. It's behind you.
I stole this from
so neat.
I stole it. I was at South by Southwest Sydney last year, and they put this up. And when I was leaving, they were packing them away, and I was like, I'm taking mine. So I like took it off the wall and carried it home on the bus.
The hell are they
This
gonna
drunk
do
guy on
with
the bus was like, "What is that?" It's my game. He's like,
It's like a
Doggy Don't Care. Huh?
it?
Yeah, it's interesting.
just slap the QR code on that, Rohan.
Yeah, there you go.
Be like, what's that? Find out this way.
You know, who knows? Maybe, you know, if this thing keeps getting the momentum going, maybe you got a Bluey sponsorship in your future. Maybe you could play as little Bluey. You never know.
Yeah.
Just destroying the Bluey home. Hell yeah. Bluey and Bingo left to their own devices. And that
There you
damn
go,
what's the unicorn? I'm blanking on the name. Damn it, the little puppet. Whatever. So somebody out there will know.
Do more of that.
No, puppet. Anyway, it's one of my favorite shows, and it's wonderful. All right, so why don't we slide in a little bit, change gears, unless, Andy, you have any more pressing questions about Doggy Don't Care.
No, I just want it.
Hell yeah.
I just want it as soon as possible. Is there like a window of release or a planned year you have that's brewing in your mind, or?
It's definitely going to be next year. It won't be this year. Yeah, so as I said, I'm getting other people on board. I can see the complete game in my head. And I'm really excited about what that will be. Yeah, so I think like within a year, I think it will be ready to go. Yeah. I try not to think too far ahead. I just get scared. So I'm like, just worry about what I'm doing this week. But yeah, for sure, like within a year. I don't want to take too much longer than that because I've already been working on it for just a bit over a year now. And I don't want to just sit on the one game for the next 5 years. I want to get this one done and start on the next one.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to get into rapid fire questions. This is where we get to know you. And we're going to ask you a bunch of real dumb questions, and you're going to give us the top of the brain all answer. And we'll just go from there. We'll see what happens. Okay. Okay, here's one. Here's the one that's on brand. If eating dog turds gave you hold on. If eating dog turds gave you immortality, are you eating one?
Oh my god.
No.
Okay.
And more than one?
Wait, is immortality like, is it for a limited time or like, 10 seconds per poop, or is it like
No.
Yeah,
everyone, all you got to do is eat a dog turd and you're immortal. But like you found like the wizard or whatever that was like, if you eat dog turds, you get immortality.
Hell no, I will not be eating dog turd. Thank you for asking.
I'd eat so many dog turds.
I don't want to be immortal.
It doesn't.
Do you get to pick the dog at least?
Probably not. But you could prepare it any way you want.
Not every dog turd is made the same.
That is true. And remember, specifically, a turd is a specific shape and function, and and you know what I mean. Like it's not a, you know what I mean.
Not a soft serve.
Yeah, it's not soft serve. Exactly. That's exactly right. All right, Andy, please take us away from dog turds.
I love that. Oh my god. No, it's like when I asked my fiance how was the dog's poop, he's always like, good. That means like it's a regular. He's like, soft serve, so I know the consistency, so I get it.
Yes, you must know.
If you could give your dog the ability to speak, communicate with you and others, would you want it to?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, that's
I think
brave.
they already do communicate, right, with their eyes, like you said before.
No, like it can
So you
speak
actually know
words like
exactly
we
what it's
can.
saying. Yeah, I feel like you get a gist of what they're saying. So yeah, I would definitely want to know exactly what it's saying because I feel like I know 70% of what he's trying to tell me at the moment. So I'm like, just give him words, and yeah, that'd be great. So yes, I would love that.
My dog knows things about me that I don't want it repeating back to anyone.
That's true. Gotta be careful with that. Plus, like, you worry about the level of intelligence that they would have at that point. Like, are they just a babbling 3-year-old that's just gonna say everything? Or are they gonna have the intelligence and wisdom to keep their mouth shut and like are we talking, Brian Griffin type dog, or are we talking like a dumb idiot?
No, it's the same energy. Like it's like whatever your dog is, like, oof, no, I don't want it. Nope.
All right, Rohan.
His
You
eyes
know
are
the
way too judgy
phrase
sometimes.
You know the phrase pie in the sky? Like that's a
Pie or pie?
Pie, P-I-E.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind
Yeah.
of pie is it?
No, I don't know. I'm not a pie person, so meat pie because I'm Australian. There
Okay.
you
All
go.
right.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
little meat
Meat pie.
I like it.
Ooh, I love me a meat pie. Speaking of pies, if I opened your fridge right now, what would I find in it?
Half empty half empty can of dog food.
Okay.
Not for me, for Charlie, obviously. Nothing exciting.
Nothing exciting.
Bunch of half moldy vegetables.
That's not
I
good.
need to do the shopping. I've actually got a shop arriving today. Should be
Okay.
arriving
All
any
right. There you
second.
go.
So
Very good.
my fridge is actually quite empty.
That sounds familiar. A bunch of moldy vegetables in my fridge right now.
Need to clear it out.
Because I eat garbage. Go ahead, Steve.
Have you ever cheated on a test?
Yeah, probably. Not that I remember, but for sure, yeah. Yeah.
I wish I did more as a kid.
You're making up for it now, Andy.
Yeah.
my company name, my indie studio name is Rotub Games. And the name Rotub actually came from school when I was in an exam. And me and my friend were sitting next to each other in this exam, and we kind of finished early. So we had like, a good 10, 20 minutes to just sit around, wait for other kids to finish or whatever. So on each page of this exam paper, there was a skull in the bottom corner. And I had 5 members in my family. So there were 6 pages. So there's 6 skulls. And my friend drew a body for each of my family members. And then for the extra one, he drew like a little fat version of me, and he called it Rotub for some reason. And that was in year like 11, which was like, I don't know, I worked it out the other day. It's like 20 years ago or something ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Maybe 15 years ago. And that stuck. That like he started calling me Rotub, and then and now I'm like creative Rotub Games. So yeah, that was exam related. I don't know if I cheated in that one, but I definitely got a whole future out of that exam, and it wasn't about my marks, that's for sure.
You gotta ask that. It's a sidebar, Steve. Like the studio name.
Oh, where it came
story.
from? Yeah.
There's always a fun reason why people name things the way they do, and I like that one just now. So, Rotub. Speaking about fat things, if Kirby is swallowing you, what ability does he get when he spits you back out?
That's a good question. I don't know. Forgetting what you talk about.
Amnesia.
It doesn't say dementia.
It's happened to me twice in this call, and I'm like, oh my god.
Crippling ADHD.
Yeah, it probably gets ADHD, to be honest.
Perfect.
You should do that. You should have Kirby swallow the dog from your game. That could be a fun little.
Yeah, that would be good.
That'd be
That's a
cute
good
little...
meme, actually.
Yes, yes. Just have Kirby pissing everywhere. Let that cease and desist from Nintendo come flying down.
Nothing puts you on the map faster than a cease and desist from Nintendo.
Exactly. I'll do it.
Would you rather scratch the hard to reach itch or remember the name of that thing?
Oh shit. That's a
Remember the name.
Remember,
as I've just said, like,
yeah.
I'm really forgetful.
that's
So
a
like
good
when I forget
one.
things, which happens a lot, you think I get used to it, but every time I forget something, I get really frustrated. So I definitely want to remember that thing.
Yeah. I like that question a lot, Andy. That was like one of my favorite
love
ones.
that. That's a good one. Because I would lean more towards the thing, because I'm always like, Alzheimer's is near.
Oh, my brain is so toast. Like eventually you could hurt yourself enough to forget an itch. Like
yeah,
you could just punch yourself real good somewhere and you'd be like, okay, the itch is gone. But then remembering that thing, that's just so hard.
Yeah.
Like I would be able to remember the freaking dog unicorn fairy from Bluey.
Yeah.
Can't remember it. Damn it. Stupid.
I'm notorious for forgetting things when I leave someone's house, like, and I'll make a joke of it because I know it's going to happen. I'm like, oh, well, whatever I leave here, I'll get it next time, hoping that I actually won't forget something. But every 100% of the time, I'll leave something behind, and like, oh, my brain, it's fried.
It's unicorns. Unicorns. Thank you, Google. Andy.
Would you rather have all gold teeth or missing half of your teeth? Now, which half is up to you. It can be all the bottom half, all the top half, or just half that way or half that way. It's entirely up to you.
Every second tooth.
Nah, that would look okay. It has to be freakishly weird. So it's either all half of the top half are gone, or like all the left teeth are out.
I'd go for the gold teeth,
Gold
definitely.
teeth.
Yeah, I think that's the play. Because at least you could have a story with that, you know?
True.
Yeah.
True.
Let me get a couple more here and then we'll go out. Okay, you're not allowed to lie. Okay? Do you collect and dispose your nail clippings, or do you just let them fly about the room?
What is this?
Worry about it later.
This is what happens, listeners, when Steve doesn't do a show for a couple of weeks and his soup brain concocts the most insane questions.
Yeah.
See, you can't lie. And the fact that you didn't just spit this one out right away leads me to believe you're a flyer. You let fly. You worry about it later. Yeah, see?
Let the vacuum cleaner worry about them.
Yeah. I get it.
Do you know what this is another gross
Oh,
thing
we're going back to gross.
today.
I see.
Going back to gross.
I didn't say toenails. I just said nails.
This is a quick side note.
Oh, a sidebar.
You know what Ken has by his nightstand? He has a little ceramic
can of mace.
bathtub.
Okay.
That he has all of his used contact lenses in, and it looks like bath water because it's clear blue.
Why?
And I'm like,
what does it do?
It's just there.
It's just a collection of
just
contact
a
lenses.
Bacteria trap in our bedroom.
It's not like UV light, like disinfecting them, or
nope. It's just a tub.
Is he donating them to third world
I don't
countries?
know.
Like what's happening here?
It's an art project that he's working on. It's ready for the gallery any second. It's going to go to the MoMA any minute. Would you rather have wet socks all the time?
All the time.
Always and forever. Or wet hair all the time, always and forever.
Wet hair.
Yeah. I feel like that's too easy.
Wet socks. Worse is like getting the soggy toes. Yeah, like. Ugh.
See, I want to amend that question, Andy.
Oh, go ahead.
Would you rather always have wet socks or sticky hands?
Ooh.
It's sticky hands right now.
Gross.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
My nervousness.
All right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do one more, and then Andy's gonna take us home. What's the funniest thing you have seen someone do in public? Like just a random funny anecdote for somebody just could be a friend, could be a stranger, just like they just did something, and you're just like, well, that was dumb and funny.
Can't remember. Like, my brother comes to mind because he was doing TikTok videos before TikTok was a thing. Like 25 years ago, we would be walking down the street and he would be jogging and pretend to fall over in front of people, and then get their help or whatever. And it was all just a play for my friends to have a laugh. So he comes to mind, and he actually did the same thing when he went to he was a comedian, and he went to Edinburgh, and to you go, they hand out flyers, like everyone hands out flyers as part of their come to my show, and for his advertising and handing out flyers, he's like handing out flyers is lame, it's so awkward, no one wants them anyway. So he did the same thing where he had all these flyers and he was like running to like where he had to go. And he tripped and like 100 flyers just went everywhere, and he was getting them filmed. And everyone was helping him pick it up and all this. He was pretending it was all an accident. My brother was hilarious, and yeah, he was always doing things for a laugh. So it's definitely something he did. Not sure the exact thing, but
I have a short story that reminds me of something that I did in high school. I had this really long fleece-lined sort of, it was like an Old Navy windbreaker, and it had this like really whatever. Anyway, it was really long, and it went like mid-thigh, and it was really wide on me for some reason. And if I squatted, I could pull it over my legs, and I could pull the neck over my head and zip it up, and I could just be in this coat. So what I used to do was I would sit in the middle of the sidewalk in this coat, and my friend Mike would narrate like a nature documentary, the birth of me being birthed out of the coat in the middle of the sidewalk as people are walking by, and I would like fall over because my legs don't work, and I'm like, and like coming out of the thing. And yeah, that was some stupid shit I used to do in public as a teenager. Andy, take us home.
I'm just getting the Jim Carrey out of the rhino scene from.
That's exactly right. That is exactly correct.
The visual I'm getting.
Yes, that is right.
Oh, I hate this part. Because it means two things. One, the show is ending.
It's true.
Soon, and we get to ask the worst question that I hate. Whatever.
It's the worst question because it's the hardest question. It is the deepest question. It has the most meaning.
It may be an easy question. We don't.
Oh, possibly.
It could come like that.
It could.
All right. Let's not delay this. Rohan, Andy, or Steve?
For what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That's
correct.
You can think of whatever the what is.
Could be who you're gonna get, blood sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Who you're gonna go skydiving with.
Mm-hmm.
Who you're gonna enter a chili eating contest with.
To make a skin luggage out of, whatever.
Who you're gonna hire to make the humping animation for the dog and Doggy Don't Care. Could be anything. Could be anything.
All right, let's do this. If I were to hire a voice actor for the dog or the parrot, you guys decide. Let's see who can do the best voice.
Oh boy, this is Steven's milieu. I'm not yeah, so, you're get to audition, buddy.
So this parrot for me is gonna be a Brooklyn, like Italian gangster parrot when he's talking to the dog. That's how I'm interpreting this parrot. Hey, what would happen if you just piss on that trampoline and jump on it? What would happen? That's all I'm saying. I got a badge for you. That's my.
Oh, that's so good.
It would just be my stupid voice. But like maybe like after I haven't slept for a couple of days, like when I'm most groggy and like angry, it would be this. I'd be like,
It would just be you.
there's a badge if you open that fridge and eat that leftover meat pie. Want to do it? Want to do that? That's what I would do.
Hey,
Nice.
I can
That's
tell
strong
indifference really well.
I'll have to pick Steve based on skill. Andy's was just as good, but I feel like
I liked the
Steve
direction
can
that
be more
Andy went in.
Hey, just to be nominated is always
It's always good. It's always good.
It's always a pleasure.
And it's always a pleasure to talk to our guests, especially Rohan. It was an absolute pleasure hanging out with you. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Yeah,
it
thanks
was-
for
it
having
was a
me,
lot of
guys.
fun. Yeah, can't wait to
Good to chat.
can't wait to see more of Doggy Don't Care, see where you go with it, see the other levels and how the game evolves over the course of the next year or so. Thank you very much for coming on. We can love to have you again as we get closer to release, or if you have something else you wanted to talk about or reveal or anything like that. It was an absolute pleasure. Listeners,
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks.
indeed. Listeners, remember, if you want to follow us, we're on all social media at Indie Rift. And of course, like I mentioned at the top of the show, you can go to patreon.com/Indie Rift. Rohan, where could everybody find you? Where could everybody find Doggy Don't Care and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so Doggy Don't Care is on Steam. It also has a website, doggydon'tcare.com. And I am on Twitter. My handle is Rotub. Nice and simple.
Rotub. Get it done. Well, thank you, Rohan. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, viewers. And as always, please be excellent to each other.